The trouble with schools is they always try to teach the wrong lesson.
No matter how you look at it, Wicked Part 1 has been a massive hit since it dropped in late 2024. It smashed box office records, earned glowing reviews from critics, and is pretty much a lock for multiple Oscar nominations after dominating the award scene. But that was just the first half of the story. Now fans are counting down the days until the epic conclusion, which brings the second act of the beloved stage musical to life. Oh, and trust me, after Wicked, this one character's arc in Wicked 2 is going to blow your mind. Plus, stick around as we also break down why the flying monkeys will work for Elphaba after being her enemies. But first, let's talk about something big. It was previously revealed that Wicked Part 2 has been officially titled Wicked for Good, a nod to one of the most emotional songs in the story. And from the sound of it, that song is shaping up to be a real standout, especially if Ariana Grande's reaction to filming it is anything to go by. Shooting for Good was unlike anything I've ever experienced, the Glinda star recently told Variety. It was such a long and emotional process. I kind of left my body. We filmed it over the course of a week and it stayed with me. I haven't even seen the final cut yet because I'm not sure I'm ready to feel all of it again. Director Jon M previously broke down why they decided to split Wicked into 2 movies instead of just one. In a social media post back in 2022, he explained, "As we prepared this production over the last year, it became increasingly clear that it would be impossible to wrestle the story of Wicked into a single film without doing some real damage to it." He continued, "As we tried to cut songs or trim characters, those decisions began to feel like fatal compromises to the source material that has entertained us all for so many years. So we decided to give ourselves a bigger canvas and make not just one Wicked movie, but 2. With more space, we can tell the story of Wicked as it was meant to be told, while bringing even more depth and surprise to the journeys of these beloved characters." Meanwhile, star Cynthia Erivo recently told Variety of the second part. "We're diving deeper into the consequences of the characters' choices. The story is richer and the stakes are higher. It's not just a continuation, it's a transformation. So how long do fans have to wait to see For Good hit the big screen? And will any new faces be joining Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande for Part 2? Well, Wicked for Good is officially set to premiere on Friday, November 21, 2025, almost exactly a year after the first movie dropped. Sure, that's a much longer wait than the usual 15-minute intermission theatergoers are used to, but compared to some franchise sequels, it's actually not too bad. And judging by how much love Part 1 has already gotten, we're pretty sure plenty of fans will be rewatching the first film a few times while they count down the days. If you haven't seen the stage musical or read Gregory Maguire's novel, you might want to skip this part to avoid spoilers, but in short, Wicked for Good picks up where Part 1 left off, right after Elphaba has taken flight and uncovered the corruption in Oz. By this point in the story, she's already labeled the Wicked Witch of the West because of her resistance to the wizard's rule, while Glinda has fully embraced her role as Glinda the Good, becoming the public face of the wizard's regime. Meanwhile, Fiyero is on a mission to find Elphaba, but gets caught up in trouble of his own, leading to tensions with Glinda. The second half also reimagines the events of The Wizard of Oz, but from a totally new perspective, revealing what was really going on behind the scenes while Dorothy followed the yellow brick road. Expect some surprising twists about familiar characters along the way. Since Part 1 stayed pretty true to the first act of the stage musical, we're not expecting huge changes here, but if anything major comes up, we'll be sure to update. The first tells how Elphaba becomes the Wicked Witch of the West, and the second tells how her friend Glinda becomes authentically good, producer Mark Platt explained in the production notes. Also, Fiyero's story in Wicked for Good is one to watch. One of the most intriguing characters going into the sequel is Fiyero Taigalar by Jonathan Bailey, who starts off as a carefree transfer student more interested in partying than anything serious. His charm and confidence quickly win over the students at Shiz, especially Glinda, who already sees him as her future husband. But by the end of Wicked, Fiyero is seen riding away from Shiz after Madame Horrible brands Elphaba a threat to Oz, hinting at big changes ahead for him. Wicked for Good will pick up with Fiyero taking on a completely different role, now serving as the captain of the Wizard's Guard. Early images from the sequel show him working alongside Glinda under the orders of the wizard and Madame Warble as war is declared against Elphaba. With Oz on the brink of chaos, Fiyero is forced to leave his old carefree self behind and navigate a future filled with tough choices. Even in the first movie, Fiyero's character arc is already in motion. He starts out as someone who doesn't take life too seriously and is initially drawn to Glinda's charm, but over time his bond with Elphaba reveals a more compassionate, determined side of him. Unlike most people, Fiyero never judges Elphaba for her green skin and even helps her free a lion cub, showing that he values doing what's right over simply going with a crowd. By the end of Wicked, it's unclear where exactly Fiyero is headed, but his decision to leave Shiz suggests he realizes how much Oz is changing, and that he needs to do whatever it takes to find Elphaba. His transformation from a reckless student to a leader willing to fight for what matters most sets up a compelling arc for Wicked for Good, where his role as captain of the Wizard's Guard may put him in direct conflict with the person he cares about most. And also, one of the biggest lingering questions after Wicked is what happens to the flying monkeys and why they eventually become Elphaba's allies despite being her enemies at first. The flying monkeys are one of the most iconic symbols of the Wicked Witch of the West, but in the first Wicked movie, they're still working for the wizard. This sets up an important shift in Wicked for Good, where they'll finally break free and side with Elphaba. Although the flying monkeys are usually associated with a Wicked Witch, Wicked changes things up by having them start as enemies. In the first movie, Elphaba's very first spell from the Grimoire is what gives the monkeys their wings, but at that point, they are still under the wizard's control. He originally wanted them to be his spies, but their newfound abilities make them a powerful force, and he uses them to attack Elphaba in one of the film's most intense moments. Despite their rough start, Wicked for Good will see the flying monkeys become Elphaba's allies. Act 2 of the Broadway musical gives some insight into how this happens. After Bach is transformed into the Tin Man, Elphaba returns to the Emerald City in an attempt to free the monkeys. Though she's captured before she can succeed, the wizard lets the monkeys go as a gesture of goodwill, hoping to win her over. However, when Elphaba later discovers Dr. Dillamond has lost his ability to speak, she becomes more determined than ever to fight against the wizard and Madame Warble. Now free, the flying monkeys chose to follow Elphaba, strengthening her cause but also fueling her growing reputation as the Wicked Witch. Well, that's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe because we'll be covering more updates on this soon and other exciting upcoming movies and series. See you next time.